I love that song. It's one of my favorite ones because I played it actually in the car on the way here, and I played it last night, and I played it the other day, and I just
yes, I
really want to learn Farsi. I want to learn Arabic. I'm a convert to Muslim, and so I'm trying to learn the prayers because. Anyway, we won't get into that topic, but I'm learning Arabic slowly because you pray in Arabic. So yeah, at least that's what I'm being taught. Anyway, I digress. Let's talk about another song of yours, What Love Is.
Yes.
That is the most playful video I've ever seen. Shout out to the artists that are in the video because I recognized a couple people in there. So where did I mean, obviously, when I see you and your spouse, you guys are married, right?
Yep, we are now. We weren't when we did the video.
But you guys, you're just like magnets to each other. And not polar opposite magnets. Like, y'all are just drawn to each other. And to see it in the video and to hear it in the music, tell me, where did the song come from?
That's exactly where it came from. So J.H. produced that track. So that's his beat. And when I first met him, I was writing a lot, and I think I love that the hook where I'm like saying what love is. I don't know, but I feel it when I'm next to you. Mm-hmm. Like that's something because people always it's so hard to put words into a feeling, you know, like especially a feeling like love because it's so many things and. Yeah, it's like someone that when you're next to them, you feel that love, you know, and that can be a partner, that can be family, that can be friends, you know, but you know it when you feel it. It's like, definitely, it's hard to describe it. But yeah, that song was definitely really fun to do. And yeah, it was a good time.
This song is called What Love Is by Mana.
Yeah, check it out. Shout out to Enrique for the video.
That's what love is, I don't know, but I feel it when I'm next to you. I'm a door, you're the knob that opens and closes me. When there's fire, you're the water that hoses me. Broken chain, the clasp that keeps me together. Grasp my values, my hopes to live for the better. I'm a book, you're the reader, making me come alive. I'm a car, you're the key that makes my engine drive. I'm the ocean which you dive, the sea which you swim in. My heart's like the roof and shelter that you live in. And you're the presence that makes my house a home. No, I'm not alone, conversation keeps me in the zone. I'm your own, no doubt, not a second I'm Isis. You be Osiris, our love is timeless. Roll my hair out so you can climb the wall. Help you kill the dragon from the tall top before it falls. Before it all disappears, the salt within my tears. You're the wrinkle in my ears, putting rest to my fears when you're near. Ask what love is, I don't know, but I feel it when I'm next to you. Sounds in my ears put me in this magnet like magic, tragic and beautiful. So imaginary yet true to hold. Few grow old in it, few in it. Over the years, lots to embellish. That's a fairy tales elders like to tell us. Up to you to find what's the realest. Romeo and Juliet would be jealous. We conquered love before we let it kill us. We just let it build a life that would thrill us. Every morning when I wake up next to the realest love that could fill us in a warm world, oozing out our whole souls. Don't know unless you do it, unless you live it. Try harder than anything just to get it. Put it all on the line. F pride, it's all lies, all these fables, yet this the truth. I just love being next to you. As my love is, I don't know, but I feel it when I'm next to you. A warm hand in a world so cold makes me feel like we'll make
blow my mind. Every time I hear your music, I always am like, where's this chick from? But I know now you're from Maryland. You're a transplant to Utah.
Yes.
So when it comes to being bilingual on the track, for someone that doesn't speak Farsi, is rhyming the same? Are you rhyming enunciation? Are you rhyming cadence? Like, how does that play into bilingual music?
It's pretty similar, I would say. I mean, because even with the English songs, I'll twerk words, to like just to be playful with it or whatever. Yeah, and I think it's the same for Farsi. I do the same thing. So it's pretty similar. It's the way, of course, our language is very different. So and it's, if you've learned any other language other than English, most of them, they have the same endings for, like, I am, you are, we are, they all have like this, like in Spanish, it's like,
it's kind of backwards if you translate it into English.
Yeah, like, so they have like yo tengo, or like tú tienes, or nosotros tenemos, and all even if you go to like I swim, they have the same ending. It's like mos. It's like so the same concept goes for Farsi. So that makes rhyming a little bit easier, or not easier, it makes it more fun, I think. Like, you can do some fun things with it that you can't do in English, but with English,
because of the accent. I'm saying accent, but like the accent in the language, not like...
Yeah, and I mean, Farsi is it's a fun language for sure.
Yeah, I obviously I want to learn.
We have more letters, and so we have like kh and qe that isn't used in English, and we roll our R's, and so it's fun.
You know what? Let's talk about hip hop organics, because we talked about it a little bit, but then we stepped away from it. So tell me, what is hip hop organics? How did it stem, and where is it going now?
So hip hop organics is basically a group of people who love hip hop, and we curate dope hip hop experiences. And it started because... So when I was in Maryland, I was throwing lots of shows. Like, we were doing shows pretty often, and I think before I left, I was doing the Heaven and Hell shows, and we actually brought Wu-Tang out before they had a huge show at the National Mall. We brought like Capadonna and Killah Priest and all them. But anyways, so when I came here and I wanted to be involved in the community here, that was like one of the first things I did. We did that Eggshell show with Pablo Black and Heather, and I can't remember her last name, but she's an amazing artist. And we did this event where we had like a live panel. So we had like a Q&A.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah, it was really cool. We had performances, lots of art.
That's a different event. Is that part of your event planning experience, or is that something you collectively decided?
So for the Lipstick Revolt, that was the model that I was using. We did the panels, and I always had live art and performances. So that was always my thing. But I did change it with Hip Hop Organics because it was more focused on hip hop than anything else. And it started with me trying to get close with the hip hop community here. And I had reached out to like different folks and being like, oh, like if you need help with anything, like I have a lot of experience with marketing, and, you know, I got a lot of followers. Like I want to build, you know, that same type of thing here in Salt Lake, and keep it moving, growing, and all that stuff. Building, yeah. And especially since I did a lot of tours on the East Coast, I'm like, hey, like any artists out here that want to go to the East Coast, like I got you. Like I know folks. Like I'm not messing around.
Network.
Yeah, like I'm not just talking. Like I will give you their numbers right now. I also wanted to bring artists from the East Coast to here. Right. That was also one of my goals. I wanted to create a bridge between Maryland and Utah, because there is not one.
There's not.
And, when you say Utah, people just have such a different idea.
Are you Mormon usually follows that question.
Yes. Are you Mormon or do you ski? Like, those are the two things
right.
that people immediately will think of. And so I wanted to create that, and I wanted to bring folks out here. And I actually did bring a couple of artists. I wish I brought more. But we had Ashley Sierra, who's from Baltimore, come. My girl Observa, she's in the New England area. But I knew her from DC. She came out here for one of the Hip Hop Organics events. And I wanted it to be a collective thing. And right now, like, a Soul Lyricist has helped me a lot with the events. I mean,
shout out to Soul Lyricist.
Big shout out to Soul Lyricist. And JH is literally, like, if he wasn't around, I would not be able to do these events, because I get so stressed out. And I'm not from here, so it's like building those relationships and all that stuff. It comes with a lot of anxiety,
Utah's a different world to do events in. It's very competitive. It's very team.
Yeah.
So it's not one team. It's like, here's a team, there's a team. So I can relate to the anxiety and stress of that. So it's good to have someone local to work with, because they can navigate the various teams, if you will, to pull it all in as one team and one movement.
Yeah, and Soul Lyricist actually is from Florida, and we had a mutual friend that when he came, because we came out to Utah around the same time, and our mutual friend was like, "Oh, you should talk to each other," So
I love that. Small Lake City.
Small Lake City. It's a small world, really. That's the thing with music. It is really a small world. Like, Street Jesus knows my homie Chris Carr in New York, who is like one of my big brothers. Yeah. So it's really a small world, and one of the, what is it called? Like the talent agents that I was working with in DC introduced me to Gage, who does shows out here.
Shout out to Gage Luke.
Yeah, shout out to Gage. So, it's a small world. For the folks who are like really seriously doing music, It really is a small world. And luckily I was able to meet some folks through that. But, like you said, it is a lot of like teams, and I'm like, well, I'm not going to compete with like your cousin, like, like, he's going to be like, who's this girl coming from Maryland thinking she all that, And I'm like, I am all that, I swear.
It's what we need, though. It's what we need. We need more independent, powerful women in the industry, especially here in Utah, because you've seen the female artists in the scene, and there's not a lot of us. There's not a lot, period. And
big shout out to Phoenix Child, because I think...
I need your EPK, by the way.
She's probably the... there's definitely some other dope female artists, like Courtney Kelly, and I'm sure I'm missing some few, but...
Honey, like there's a huge list of female artists that hopefully, if you're tapped in, you'll get to see those artists eventually. But today it's all about Mana. So we've talked a little bit about it, but Hip Hop Organics, where is it going now? Are you going to be doing more events in the future?
So we have a event coming up November 27th, and I don't know if you know this, but I am moving back to Maryland. Dropping the bomb right here.
It just means I gotta come to Maryland.
Yes,
I've never been.
Please come through. I really want people to come, and so this will be the last event we do here before I move, because moving is a headache for sure, and I need time to
country.
And I need time to like get all my ducks in a row and move everything back to Maryland. But so that'll be the last show we do. Before we move to Maryland. And then once I settle in Maryland, probably we'll start doing shows again.
Okay. So November 27th?
Yes.
Do you have a venue?
Metro Music Hall. It's going to start at 6 o'clock, and we have 17 artists lined up. Ooh. It's going to go from 6 to like 1 a.m.
I love it.
In the earlier half of it, we'll have a lot of vendors there. We have like 6 different vendors coming through, and the illest that I was trying to book every artist I've worked with while I've been here. But that's
a huge catalog, my friend.
I realized that. I was like, I don't think I can fit everyone in that one night, but I tried to fit as many as I possibly could. And it's going to be it's a heavy hitter show. There's everyone that's going to be performing is fire. Like everyone. one of my favorites out here is Cherry Thomas.
Ooh.
She's like, I don't know if you've heard her before, but
I have.
Her voice is like an angel. I don't know how she's not signed. What is going on,
I'm
Utah?
not sure how she's not performing more, because I've only seen her perform once, and when I saw it, I was like, whoa, where did this chick come from? So.
Yeah, she's amazing. We have Mel Soul, Phoenix Child will be performing, Glocko's performing, Dusk Rap's performing. There's a lot of other folks.
A lot of names that my ear is like, yes, tell me more, Mana.
It's going to be a fun night. Eddie Lyon is performing.
Oh, Eddie.
Yeah, so it's going to be a good night for sure. I wanted to, it's kind of like a goodbye party, but I'm sure we'll have like something else. Smaller, probably more performances.
Intimate.
It's
an event. Like,
yeah, it's an event.
Be prepared to not talk and talk briefly.
Yes, exactly. If you ever see me at any of my shows, you know I'm literally running around, making sure everyone's okay, and trying to
hold down the house.
Hold down the house. Yes.
Event planning is one thing, but when the event comes, it's go time, because. Yes. You can't just say, I'll get back to it. No, it's in the moment, in the time. Like, I've done a lot of event planning, and my hat's off to you, because 17 acts, you said? Wow.
I know.
Do you have a stage manager that's handling it all?
Nope. Well, I mean, so Soul Lyricist and Steve Rogers, they're part of the Hip Hop Organics, and they're gonna help out. So, yeah, kind of. Yeah, I guess so. And I feel like at this point, like everyone that most of the people I booked, I look at as like my homies, you know, I've had one-on-one connections with them, and yeah, I feel like it's just going to be a good time, and we're going to chill. And
I'm excited. I'm putting it in my calendar as soon as this podcast wraps, because I'm out of town, but I will be back for that, because I cannot miss that. Just the names that you've mentioned is good energy. So speaking of good energy, The Secret of Mana, the album, is available on all streaming platforms. What's the best place to get tapped in with your music?
Right now, I'm working on my website again. It's getting rebranded. So Instagram, that's probably the best place to get tapped in with what I'm doing. And that and Facebook. Facebook.com/The Secret of Mana. I'm posting mostly on Instagram. Yeah,
Instagram's easy, but
Instagram is easy. But I do have the Facebook as well, and I need to get my website back up. But yeah, so
I can relate to website headaches. Yeah, we've touched on it a little bit, but we haven't really dove into Lipstick Revolt. So let's talk about that, because I feel like that's Mana in a rap show, because a rap show, roll with it, because you're quoted as saying it's making a statement without intention to.
Yes.
Let's talk on that. So Lipstick Revolt, obviously, when you wear beautiful red lipstick, it's a power statement. It's very empowering to have lipstick on. And if you don't wear any makeup and you put lipstick on, suddenly you maybe feel more jazzy or more playful or whimsical or whatever you wear lipstick for. Yeah. So where did it come from?
So it came from, there was actually a group of women I think they were in London, they were protesting, and they called them the Lipstick Revolution or something.
Oh, okay.
And I always hang around a lot of guys because I'm in hip hop, and right. I've always just had a lot of guy friends, you know, like I grew up with my brother and his friends, and anyways, my guy friends were always like, because I would argue all the time. I'd be like, there's so many dope women. There's dope female rappers. There's dope women, everything, but you just don't know them. And they're like, you keep talking about this, but where are these women? And I'm like, well, they're working. They're out there busy getting their, you know. And so I decided, even before I put out my own album, and being the broke girl that was just coming up, I really wanted to highlight women in hip hop. So the first album that I actually put out was a Lipstick Revolt mixtape, and it was me and I think like 10 other women. Okay. Shout out to House Studios, because they basically sponsored us coming into their studios, recording, and making a bunch of songs with them. And we put that mixtape out, and it did really well. And it's fire. I mean, I feel like it should have done better than it did, because everyone on there is extremely talented, and the messages amongst the songs are beautiful, you know. So that was like the first thing that I actually released. And then from there, I did Lipstick Revolt events, where the first one I did was 12 hours.
Oh my gosh.
I'm crazy.
That's a long day.
Yeah. It was, I had 8 female DJs, 8 female photographers, 8 female vendors.
Why 8? Just you like the number?
I don't know why I came up with that 8. Maybe like infinity. I don't know.
Okay.
And it was 12 hours. So I was like, I need I need a lot of people.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I had 8 female photographers, 8 female performers. Just, you know, it was a packed house with powerful women. And that was an amazing event. And then I kind of was like, okay, let's not do like a 12-hour event. Let's do something chill. And that's when we did the shows with having like a Q&A panel with very powerful women. Ma Dukes, Jay Dilla's mother, was one of the panelists. Candace Nicole, who does public relations, was on there. I had so many different amazing women from film to politics, you know, on the panel talking about what they do. And it was awesome. It was a really great experience. I was giving incentives for people to network and like giving away prizes for people who got each other's information.
I love that. Like, please talk to each other.
Yes.
I will give you a gold star or a candy bar or, you know, I don't know.
Something. Because I get it. Like, it's when you go to shows, it's kind of awkward. Like, you see people, and you've probably seen them at other events that you go to because you like the same things.
Yeah.
But you don't know each other. And it's like, okay, what can be the icebreaker for this situation? Well, if I tell you guys to like, okay, you have to get these things, and you get like a prize for it, then
incentive.
Then you're not going to be like, oh, this person's creepy. They're like trying to get my info. You know, it's like, no, they just want to know who you are, and
they want a candy bar.
And they want a candy bar, yeah. So those went extremely well, and actually that was my. I wasn't sure if I should do Lipstick Revolt when I came here, and then it kind of morphed into doing hip hop organics and being more involved with the hip hop world here. But a part of me wants, if I didn't have a full-time job, that's what I would be doing.
We'll talk after this, because I didn't know, but now I know, and so it's like, ooh, I got ideas. So having that wheelhouse, if you will, how can you advise, or would you advise young women coming into the game right now? What's the advice you would give for them?
I have a lot of advice I would give to them, for real. Just depends on what they want to do, because there's so many different things that are involved. I would say look at the grants that are in your city, because there are so many artist grants that people don't even know about. And these grants, they will tell you themselves that they don't have enough people who apply to them.
Wow.
Yeah. Like, and I've seen that. I've heard that here. I've heard that in DC. And there are lots of resources available to you that you might not realize. So I would say go for that. Find those grants. There are places that will like even house artists, and what do they call it? Like an artist residency. Go for those kinds of things and keep working on yourself, and don't let anything stop you. I get it. Life gets in the way, you know, things go crazy and you have to address those, but just don't stop. Don't give up. Keep going, and you'll get to where you want to get to eventually.
So wise. So the last question I have is kind of a trick question. If you were me and you were in my shoes, what question didn't I ask that you would have asked?
Wow. These are tough questions. I got to think about that one. What question would I ask myself? That's a good. Maybe I would ask myself, like, what inspired me to be an artist? Maybe. I feel like you asked me like the resources, but if I was to talk about myself, like I really like talking about why I do what I do. You know, like, why am I even a rapper?
Yeah.
And that is a question actually someone asked me many years ago. Which forced me to think about it, because I was like, like, why am I a rapper? Like, right. You know, and it's because not only are there not enough women in hip hop, but I realized that when you have a talent, it's your responsibility to get it out there. Like, I remember having arguments with a friend about hip hop and women in hip hop, because he was like, "Oh yeah, female rappers, they don't do anything. Their careers don't last. They don't blah 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 blah." And I was like, "But I rap. I'm dope. Like, I'm better than half of these rappers." And
that part,
right? And he was like, "Well, if you're not out there, then that doesn't count." And I was like, "Dang,
it's very true.
That is true." You know, like I had to swallow that ugly truth, because if you have a talent, you have to put it out there for people to see, so that people know you exist. And honestly, that is why I'm doing it. I just want people to know that there is a Persian rapper who does exist, who's been doing this for now 11 years, 12 years. Anyways, who's been in the game, who's not giving up. And there's many more. I am not the only one. No. There are so many other dope female artists out there. And the more of us that continue staying on our grind and keep doing what we do, the more we break the stereotype that female rappers don't last. Female rappers can't stay in the game. Female rappers don't have the stamina, or whatever the hell that...
Whatever negative follow-up goes after female rapper. We're breaking those norms and stereotypes for sure.
Exactly. Yeah. So that's what I would say.
Well, I appreciate you being here. Is there anything you want to add, or anything we forgot to touch on?
I think that's pretty much it. We touched on pretty much all the things, and I appreciate being here. Morning Cup of Culture.
I love having
for the
you
win.
Here. I know we've talked about this for a minute, so thank you so much for taking time and being here. If you guys have not checked out Mana, make sure you guys check her out on all streaming platforms. It's only going to go up from here. Woo-hoo. Thanks for tuning in. Peace.
It's Big Shotty, Big Shotty, Big Shotty.